Hi, I'm Sandy Hartka with Sandy Loves Stamping here today with you for the February 2024 Stamp and Go. We are going to be creating 3 cute cards today using the Cheerful Daisy stamp set. If you would like to get the free card kit, you can place an online order using the special host code below. Or if you just want the directions and the measurements, you can get those for free. There's also a link below that will tell you how to get those. Okay, so give me a moment and I will switch views here and we'll get started stamping. All right, so this is the Cheerful Daisy set. And of course, it has dies that go with it that cut out the some of the stamped images and some that are not. And there's a cute little label down there. We're going to be using that today. And you'll find that this is one of my favorites in this die set. All right, let us get moving on card number 1. I love this card because there's a lot of daisies on here. And one of the fun things is that we are shading a little bit. And that just adds a little bit of pizzazz to your design. So we want to do that. I'm going to do that for you first, and then we'll get into making the rest of the card because we want the blends to dry. Otherwise, these little gems will not stick. They won't stick to wet stuff. All right, we are going to start out with 2 of these die cuts, and we're going to take the dark daffodil, got that upside down, dark daffodil delight blend, and we're going to take the end that has the brush on it. We're going to start in the center and flick outwards on the petals. And this is not a precise coloring. As you can see, I'm just flicking out a couple of times in each petal. Sometimes more, sometimes less, because that's how flowers look, right? Okay, so we're moving around. Just kind of twirl your flowers around, your die cut around a little bit, and that makes it easier. If you're right-handed, like I am, makes it a little easier for you to flick in the proper direction and get it where you want it to land. Okay, like I said, some are more, some are less. We're just trying to get that shaded look. So on this one, I'm turning it upside down because it was a half daisy. And we're just flicking outwards a little bit like that. Okay, now I am going to cut these apart. Okay, there was a leaf stem on there, and it looked like this. It comes off the end over here. We're not going to use that at all, so just cut that off. And then you'll see right here are 2 areas on this flower that are hooked onto this daisy. And then there are 2 that are hooked onto this one that connected it to the others. So there you go. And then I already had the second one done, and that's laying over here at the side. So we are ready to go. We're going to let those dry now while we go ahead with the rest of the stuff. And that way, when we get ready to add these jewels, and there are a ton of jewels on this one, aren't there? I just love embellishments. They're so fun. Okay, let's start with the label. I'm going to stamp on the label the verse about birthdays, wishing you the biggest birthday. Okay, brightest, I'm sorry, not biggest, brightest birthday. I'm going to ink up. Check it out on my mat to make sure it's inking well. Looking pretty good. So I'm going to hover over the label, get it straight, and press down. There we go. Now it's up a little bit because we're going to add some embellishments down here in a bit. Okay, I'm going to lay that over to the side. Get rid of our ink because that's all the stamping that we're going to do on this. We have a white card base, and I used the thick cardstock for card bases because it gives you a little bit better stability for the card base itself. For the rest of the white, then I just use the regular. Now we have the next piece that's going on is white. And I've used what I call the crosshatch design. It's one of the 3 basic 3D embossing folders They are exclusive online products, so you will not see them in the catalog, and you will not see them called crosshatch because that's my name for it. Okay, so I put 6 dots or, well, no, 8 dots of glue on the back, and we're going to center that right here on our card base. There we go. Try to get that straightened up. There we go. Now, normally I put the greeting on last, but this time, because we've got a lot of positioning to do, we're going to start and put this on first. That way we know where the flowers are going to fit best. That's going down here about an inch up from the bottom of your card, hangs over this layer just a little bit. And since we're here, we might as well go ahead and put on the iridescent rhinestones down here at the bottom. And these are the small ones. They'll be in your packet should you decide you want to get one of the free stamp sets. I mean, free card kits. Be nice if you got the free stamp set, right? Okay, there we go. So these are the small iridescent rhinestones. All this information, the supplies, the measurements, all that will be in the materials list if you want to get those. Now, the next thing that I'm going to put on will be these sprigs. And normally, again, I usually put them on last, but there's a lot of things that are going to go on top of them. So this time I'm going to put those on at the beginning. Okay, I'm going to use glue dots. You will find that I am a glue dot queen. All right, and we're going to start with putting a glue dot down here at the bottom of our sprig. This one we're going to put right here. Grab another glue dot. And that is going to go at the bottom of this one. Now this one is going to go up here at the top, over about an inch from the side of the card. And one more. This one has a lot of attachments and stuff to go on, so it's really pretty. All right, and this one is going to go down here kind of in this corner right over here. Now our base is kind of ready to go. So let's put on our flowers, and we're still not going to put on the gems because we want that to dry really well. So I'm going to put the flowers on with dimensionals. Okay, so I'm going to put a dimensional here in the center. Whoops. I'm not going to put that one on. There we go. And take that topping off. Now this one is going to get positioned kind of down here. It's a little bit over the label there. So that one goes right there. Then I'm going to grab the other large one. And this one, we're going to slide right under the big one there. We're going to leave that center kind of exposed a little bit. I want that down a little bit further. There we go. About right there. Okay. Now we've got one of the half flowers. We call this a half flower. And we're going to put that up at the top and slide it slightly under this one. And you can tilt it a little bit if you like right there. Very good. All right, the next one that's going on is one of our small flowers. And we're going to put a dimensional right there in the center of that one. And that one's going to slide, whoops, we don't want to move that. We want to leave that right there. We're going to lift this up just a little bit and slide that right under, about right there. We have one more small flower. Take that off, and we're going to slip this one down here right under this big one right here. Okay. And last but not least, we have another half flower. And that one is going over here at this side. And we're just going to leave it on top. Okay, just like that. Perfect. Now we have two of the green leaves. Now these are the ones that were actually hooked on, but we cut them separately out of green so that we didn't have to worry about coloring them. And we're going to use a glue dot on the back of that down here near the bottom. The first one we're going to slip right under here. It's going to peek out from there. And we're going to grab another glue dot for the second one. And that one is going to slip right under here, just like that. Awesome. Now, the best is yet to come. We are going to pop on now. Hopefully these are dried enough that we're going to pop on the flat backed pearls. There we go. It seems to be working fine. So we're going to continue. So the large pearls are going on the small flowers. Here's the last one. And then we're going to put an array of the small ones on the big flowers. So I'm going to put one in the center, and then we're going to put 6 on the outside. So when you get finished, you are going to have a ton of sparkle and shine. More shine on this, I guess, than sparkle. Okay, there we go. Last one here, and now we're going to work on this one right up here. So, whoops, we want a small one. Small one in the center. And then we're going to work again on the outside. And this one is called the daffodil on your directions, because we're using daffodil cardstock for our colored flowers. Okay, and one more right in here. See if we can get that straightened up there. I got it upside down. There we go. Should in just a little. There we go. Awesome. Very good. Now, your card is all sparkly and it's ready for sending. I hope you like that one. Now, that one's called the daffodil. So now let's move on to card number 2. And that looks like this. So this is your card number 2. Isn't that pretty in the background? That is done with a vellum. And let me show you how this card goes together. Scoot that out of the way. We're going to start again with our card base. And this is Knight of Navy. And so in your directions, this will be called the Navy card. And again, I'm using, you'll find on all 3 cards today, we're using this crosshatch folder. This is a layer that's now going on top of our card base. Just put some glue on that, or we're going to nab that down there. Center it, you'll have just a little bit of your card base showing along the outside. Now slide that over for a second, and we're going to work on these 2 pieces. This piece I originally cut out with the postage dies, which is beautiful. They're an awesome set of dies. They're in the Spring Mini. And then I cut out the inside to form the frame with the deckled rectangles. And you can see it's not even and square. It's the deckled edging. And so you can take that out and use it for something else. Then I cut a piece of vellum and put it through the Painted Posies folder. So when you do that, it raises up that image and gives you like a white outline on your vellum. So we're going to turn this over to the back side. So we're now on the back side. And we're going to put some glue dots around the edge of this so that we can tack down our vellum. So I'm going to put probably 3 on there. Awesome. 1 at the corners, and because the sides are so long, I'm going to add 1 to the sides here just to make sure it nails down well. All right, so this is the back side. So we want to take this, which is the front side, and flip it over. So now that arced flower is coming in at the side. I want to center that, and you can see that really well through the vellum there, so you can make sure that you get it centered well. While we have this over on the side, we're going to add dimensionals to the back of the vellum. Now you want to make sure that when you put these glue dots on the back of the vellum, you're not in the center part. You do not want them to show. And we're going to use this to tack it down to the card front. Okay, there we go. Couple more down here at the bottom, and we are good to go. All right, so now we're still at the back side. We have our glue dots back here. We're going to bring back in the card base, and we're going to nail that right in the center, and then just press down really well. Now, like we did with the first card, we're going to put on the sprigs now because there's a lot going on in here. We want to make sure that we get these underneath so that they show through, but they're not the focal point. So again, a glue dot on the back of the sprig. This one is going about right here. Awesome. And it goes over a little bit into the navy. And then we're going to do the same thing to the other one. We're going to put it on the other side, but we're going to bring it down just a little bit so that I think I want to angle that up a little bit so we get that nice sprig sticking up there. Okay. Now, your die comes with overlays. And so you can see here, I've already cut the die cut the overlays. And this is probably the biggest challenge, is matching these petals up, because they're not concentric. So what I normally do is try to find these three and then line those up just like that. Okay, so I'm going to flip that to the back side while I still have it in my hand. Now that does not mean that I'm not going to have trouble matching it up, because sometimes I do. Okay, so I put glue dots back here. And now we're going to find those three again right here, and we're going to nail those down. Nice. Okay. Same thing with the small one. I try to line up those three right there. So I'm going to flip that to the back side. And we're going to put a couple of glue dots back there. There we go. Now flip that back over and see if we can match it up again. So I'm trying to find these three. That looks good, right there. Okay, pop that down. And you know what? If you don't get those lined up, it's going to look pretty anyway. So if you miss that, don't worry about it. All right, we're going to put a couple of glue dots on the back of this half flower up here. And nail that right there. This one's not hard. You won't have any trouble with that one. Okay. Now we are going to pop this on with dimensionals. I'm going to flip that over to the back side. Now we're going to put dimensionals on the back of all three. And I'm putting the dimensional on the half flower up there where the center of the flower is. Okay, take those off. I got that off, yes. Okay, I'll bring this back over, and we are going to center that so that these leaves are over here on this side. The small flower, the full flower here, is kind of up a little bit, not exactly straight across. Does that make sense? Okay, press down. Awesome. All right, grab those flat backed pearls, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put the big ones on the centers of the small one. And we're only going to use three in the center of this one. I'm going to move that up a little bit. I think I got that down. Yeah, there we go. All right, and here is one more. So we don't have quite as much shine on this one, but it is really pretty. All right, your card is ready for sending. That one, again, is called the navy one in your directions. Now we're going to work on the pool party. And we're going to grab the card base first. And again, our layer is the crosshatch. That crosshatch just has sort of a casual look to it. And that's why I chose it for these daisies. These are not formal flowers. These are kind of casual flowers. And so it just went well with them. I didn't want to use a fancy folder on this. Okay, popped some glue on that, nailed it down to the card base. You see a little bit of the border of the card base showing around. Now, this is the gingham designer paper. Comes in a pack that has, I think it's 5 different colors in there, and I love gingham. And again, gingham is usually a little bit casual, so that's why I chose that color for this strip down the center. So I just centered that. All right. Again, we are going to use the sprigs, and we are going to nail those on before we do the flowers again. just so that we don't have to lift up the flowers and try to stuff this underneath. So this piece is going up here about an inch down from the top. Let me grab another glue dot for the other sprig. And these sprigs are actually done in the holograph paper, which is totally awesome. When you see that shiny and different, catches a little bit of the different colors. It's really pretty. All right, and so we nail that down. It's up about maybe a ½ inch from the bottom. This part is nailed up. Okay, awesome. So let's scoot that over. And we're going to use, again, the white die cuts. Now you can color these if you like, but I like them the way they are. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the back side of this. And we're going to nail it down to the big flower here. This is the overlay. And again, I'm looking for those 3 petals down here. Try to match those up. Nice. Same thing with the small flower. A little bit of glue on the back side of that. And again, we're trying to find those 3 little pieces down there. Awesome. Nail that. And then we have the half flower overlay. A little bit of glue on the back of that. And this is the easiest one. I always leave that to last, so I have a nice, easy one to end up with. Okay, so we are going to flip this to the back side. And again, I'm using dimensionals to put this on. This lifts up your flower and gives it a nice 3D look, which I think is awesome. I forgot to do this, so let's do this now. We're not going to use these leaves, so I'm going to nip those right off. You can keep these and use them for a later project if you like. Now we're going to layer this over here, and I'm going to put this sprig kind of between these 2 flowers so that the sprig is coming out and giving them both a little added pizzazz. I'm going to lay that over to the side for a second and grab the label. Now this is this verse that we're using is from the Go-To Greetings, which is an awesome set. If you do not have it, it's a good idea to nab that as a staple for your greeting sets. I just inked that up with black ink. Any black ink will do. I'm going to check it out, make sure it's inking well, and then we're going to ink it up for good and stamp and rock slightly to make sure you get the top and the bottom of all your letters. Now, I'm going to also use glued or dimensionals for this. I'm going to put 1 on each end. There we go. And take off the backing. And this, we are going to slide under slightly right here. And we're going to come up a little bit so it's kind of between those petals and layer that down just like that. Perfect. Okay. Grab those flat back pearls. I just love these things. Can you tell? Again, we're going to put the large ones on the small flowers. So I got that one on my finger, so we'll just nail that right there. And again, we're going to use 3 for the inside of this larger flower. There we go. And 1 more, and we are good. Now, that is a pretty hard, but if I add a little bit more pizzazz to it, it will go over the top of our design scale. So I'm going to put 1 large peacock rhinestone there, or it's not a rhinestone, sequin, and 2 down here. And you can see that that just pops that whole card into perspective. All right, this card is ready for sending. Don't forget, if you'd like a free card kit, you'll get two sets of cardstock, and you'll get the embellishments also to make 2 of the cards of each of the 3 designs. If you place an order for $35, if you place an order for $50, you'll get not only that, but you'll get also a full pack of embellishments. And guess which embellishments you're going to get with this pack. If you just get the card kit, you will get enough of these to do your cards. But then if you get the $50 order, then you'll get a full pack that you can start making your own. We are going to be coming to Stamp and Go every fourth Tuesday of the month. So I hope you'll come back in March and see us again and create 3 new cards at that time. Thank you so much for joining us.